The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. And I can't tell you just how gorgeous it is in Tampa today. It's everything I could do just not to move everything out on the front lawn and trade outside. It is just so gorgeous. Makes you feel like you just got out of school. I mean, not just out of school for the day, but I mean for the summer. It's one of those days where it's just so gorgeous. The sun's so bright. The sky could not be any bluer. And, of course, I'm your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. Market's not been really doing a whole lot today, but I don't really suspect that it was. Yesterday, after the movement, volume tends to be an exhaustion day where that move exhausts itself. And you kind of set yourself up for a pullback, and we haven't gotten much of one today. We've got, of course, the FOMC speaking. What is it? Is it next week or the week after that? It's a week after that. So we've got about 2 weeks. We've got expiration on that Friday. So we're probably looking at maybe some kind of little pullback. I think we're in a bigger trading range now of something like 1935 to probably right about here, maybe a little higher. If you were very bullish, I think you would probably want to see this thing pull back to about 1935 and then run up to maybe 2000, maybe 2.25, maybe into or after that FOMC meeting where they just say, here's unicorns and rainbows and everything is beautiful. And you know what? We'll never, ever raise interest rates again. We've learned our lesson. That's it. Of course, they had notes coming out today at 2 o'clock. Didn't really seem to move the market up. In fact, we're down, 40 points on the S&P cash at the moment. Still show flat on the S&P cash, 1975. So I'm kind of expecting light and variable through this month. And the question is whether or not the FOMC disappoints. A lot of people think that the put is back on, or at least they praying or hoping or wishing that it's on. The question is really what happens when we get into the next earnings cycle. Of course, they've moved the earnings down to where it's kind of like having a high jump with about 6-inch bar up. I mean, even people in the cast could pretty much get over, and they're saying, oh, earnings are great, earnings are great. Well, they aren't that great. They've been moving them down for the last 6 months. They just keep on moving the bar down and saying that we beat them. Now, am I totally bearish? No, I'm not. I think that maybe things could be getting a little bit better economically. And, of course, into that strength, we might find a lot of people that have been long for 5 years decide that maybe it's time to exit stage left. I guess it's stage left. I've got to know my it was a tiger, wasn't he? Exit stage. Snagglepuss? Yeah, he was a tiger, wasn't he? That would be a great den name, too, wouldn't it, for somebody in the den, tiger's den? Snagglepuss. Anyway, very interesting day out here. So far, the volume is fairly decent. And in fact, I'm going to say probably even better than yesterday. At this time, 2.8 billion shares for the narrow trading range. I think it's fairly good. Of course, this is the second big day of fund buying. Normally, when you hit a weekend like we did, most of the fund guys will just say, no reason for me to go into a weekend and something might blow up. I will wait until we get back on Monday and Tuesday to start fund buying. So we had a little bit, a big shot of that yesterday. A lot better than TrendTab's data would suggest for the IRA money coming in. And I was kind of thinking about that last week when they started saying, well, you know what? All the people that were supposed to be selling for IRS money to send in for their ill-gotten gains when they got out last year, you know what? A lot of money to be paid on some big positions that people had for a very long time. But they are revising their statements, and a few other people that I follow also that show that, at least for what they say, they think a lot of people have already sold their positions to raise cash to pay for the positions they actually sold in the downdrafts starting last August. And we'll continue seeing a little bit more of that. Anyway, 1974 on the S&P cash, not a whole lot happening on that. Just a hair under 2.9 billion shares. And of course, as always, we meet at this time every day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Yes, it does. Oh, they're quick on the draw today in the engineering room. What else do we have going on out here? I guess we need to start with a little bit of history today. And of course, there were a couple of things that I thought were interesting. And the problem is I'm not a good rhymer, or we would be talking today about the Cat in the Hat, as he was born today, I think in 1904 or something.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
In fact, I think there's a future in a Cat in the Hat rhymer and rapper. If they can do a rap version on Broadway of one of our founding fathers and make it worth watching, maybe they could make a rap version of the Cat in the Hat. And of course, where would Jesse Jackson be without being the Cat in the Hat rapper, the original Cat in the Hat rapper? So he might sue them, thinking that they are taking something off of his talking and verbalizing style. On this day in 1929, the Jones Act, the last gasp of prohibition, is passed by Congress. Since 1920, when the 18th Amendment went into the effect, the United States had banned the production, importation, and sale of alcoholic beverages. But the laws were ineffective at actually stopping the consumption of alcohol. The Jones Act strengthened the federal penalties for bootlegging. Of course, within 5 years, the country ended up rejecting prohibition and repealing the 18th Amendment. But there's a lot more to this. If you get a chance, there's an excellent documentary. I think it's on Netflix all the time now. But of course, it was on PBS, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, about prohibition. And I think it runs, one of these things that runs 4 or 5 or 6 hours. But probably the most interesting part to me was the first hour, hour and a half of just how bad and how many people were just total alcoholics. And it really came from the hangover of the Civil War, where so many people had seen so many horrible things that they really got into a culture of drinking. Of course, there were some technology that came along that made drinking that much easier. The ability to make bottles and the ability to build stills on a massive scale to deliver cheap alcohol. But a couple of combination of three things. Man, it was horrible in the early 19th century. If you were a woman and depending on your husband to go to work, and all he did was go to the bar and drink it up. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. More news about encryption. Facebook's executive in Brazil was arrested yesterday. The Brazil court had been demanding that Facebook hand over unencrypted data from the company they bought a few years ago called WhatsApp. I don't know if a lot of people, since the United States has cheap texting, a lot of people don't even think about it anymore. But of course, the rest of the world, SMS services, or also known as texting, has been a dime or a nickel per text. So a lot of people are using WhatsApp to get around that, not have to pay it. So that's been a big feature, especially in third world countries, China, a lot of others. They do not carry the encryption key either. They allow that to reside on the phone of the user. And so they threw this guy in jail yesterday down in Brazil, but they are letting him out today after a judge said, well, you know, if he doesn't have it, what can you do? There's no law that says that they have to keep them, and they're going to have to let them out. But again, we should probably be the leader in figuring out what is just and fair for companies have to do. But it's already starting to see a blowback in other countries where they're saying, well, you know, if the United States says it's okay, you know, we can do it too. This has to do with a drug case, no terrorism. But you know, like they said, we can't provide information we do not have or we do not keep. And for the most part, the encryption on these phones is fairly minimal. And again, I suspect that what truly, if the people in the government, both here in the United States and everywhere else, if they would actually be forced to tell the truth, it's not that they want to be able to decrypt these, is that they want to decrypt everything and they want to be able to do it in real time and not have to spend CPU cycles breaking the encryption. In fact, the FBI chief yesterday had to actually say, and in fact, one of the chief counsels for Apple actually had to say that if the FBI actually wanted to decrypt this, they could just brute force it and it would be done. So I think the truth is slowly coming out on that. And it is not that they can't get to the information. It is that they want to use this as the president to get into everything instantly without having to lift a finger or slow down for a second for anything as crude as a warrant or to actually spend the time decrypting stuff. They want a dragnet. They want to be able to look at everything all the time. And we had a nice book that warned us of many things, 1984, about in a lot of this. And if you want to think about the way that all people are equal, I would recommend Animal House by the same author. And probably a good read is Why Orwell Matters. Another great book out there. But of course, if you've not read Animal House, if you've not read Animal Farm, then you do not know all pigs are equal. But later on, some pigs are more equal than others. Just a thought. On this day, today, two very deserving people are getting the Turing Award. This is at an RSA conference in California. If you're unfamiliar with RSA, they're a big company that works with computing. And again, this is on the same theme of computer encryption. But Whitfield Diffie and John McCarthy, pretty much around 1970, started working on a lot of the problems that would hit us in the 1990s, and that is commerce on the internet. They had the first real idea of public key and private key encryption. They didn't understand the math underneath it, but had written several papers starting in 1970 through 1976. A fairly smart individual came up with a solution. He worked for the equivalent of the NSA in England. And from about 1978 on, both the United States and the UK and Australia used that system of public private key encryption to send all the information to its embassies and everything else. It worked very well. Of course, back then they were using 64-bit keys, and computer time, even big computer time, was wasn't that easy to get. And one of the reasons why we were trying to keep as many computers out of the Ruskies' hands and the Chi-Com's hands as possible during the kind of the slope to the end of the Cold War. But both of these guys won a $1 million award, and getting it today from the RSA folks. And if you don't remember the RSA folks, these were the guys that had to admit last year, by not admitting, that the RSA sent them a letter and said that they had to weaken the RSA encryption so the NSA could easily break it. So these guys, just about everywhere we go now, the part of the nose of big government is into all these companies. But congratulations to Whitfield Diffie and John McCarthy. If you're interested in encryption, there is a great three-part series on Netflix about the history of encryption. The last episode of that is about these two gentlemen. It's been around for a while. I think it's probably 6 or 8 years old, but there's not a lot new in encryption, just faster machines, better algorithms. But they won the Turing Award. And of course, if you remember the movie about Turing last year, very interesting dude, but came up with basically all the original ideas to build computers and the way computers work today. Google actually behind this. The award used to be just $250,000, but now it's $1 million. So these two well-deserving guys that were way ahead of their time will get $500,000 a piece, and well-deserved. Two really nice guys, of course, living in Berkeley. They're completely nuts. Other things going on. I got to play this out here because I didn't do it. There it is.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
Yep. We got people out here that at least the government says is breaking the law. Former Chesapeake Energy CEO Aubrey McClendon was indicted yesterday, I think after the bell. Must have been because I never saw it. Maybe it was before it. Very interesting now to see it unsealed this morning. But basically what Aubrey was accused of is between 2007 and 2012, orchestrated a conspiracy between large oil and gas companies not to bid each other against others for the purchase of certain oil and natural gas leases in northwestern Oklahoma. And why is that important? Well, of course, all those people that sold their land got less than they deserved. But what is more important is that the feds said conspiracy, but only indicted one individual, and that is McClendon. Conspiracy, by its definition, is more than one person. So Chesapeake popped today because, of course, they didn't go after a ton of people at Chesapeake, just McClendon himself. I don't know if that's... we'll talk more about this when we get back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hang on a second, I'm typing. There I go. Okay. Anyway, very interesting. This thing was like $3. It popped to 350. I don't know if you can make a lot of it, other than they're thinking maybe there may be a little less litigation if there's just one folk. But since they said the word conspiracy, I'm just suspecting that maybe they charge this guy and then go after other people in the company later. I would not be waving the flag that the worst is over in this company. If they had decided to say something else other than conspiracy, I think maybe you could have said that. But the conspiracy means more than one person, which means that there's more people. In fact, they'll be going after, I suspect, the other companies also. So this is not probably the last we've heard of this. But this investigation's been going on for, what, about a year now? And it looks to me like there's probably going to be a lot more to this. I don't understand the whole bounce thing today, other than the fact that a lot of people just think that it's over. I think that they are whistling past the graveyard on this one. And then Tom O'Brien said, of course, this guy took a bunch of cash from the shareholders too. So he's an equal opportunity weasel. Question from the email that came in at the break yesterday about what's going on. With a DisplayPort and 8K resolution monitors for traders, I thought I'd just answer this quickly. DisplayPort 1.4, which is the new one coming out, will allow 8K displays. Windows 10 does well to 4K displays, but still you have to use other cables and sometimes multiple cables. I have not moved. The question was, have I moved to a lot of these 4K monitors for my trading system yet? And the answer is no. I think we have one more generation, but I like the new specs for the DisplayPort 1.4. They will allow you to use standard USB Type-C cables, which are the new very tiny ones that you can flip either way. They're going to be more expensive, but going to make cabling 10 times easier. And I suspect that when this Display 1.4 driver comes out for Windows, we will see that Windows 10 has been upgraded to really handle these super high resolution monitors a lot better. So I'm still holding off a little on that. What else is out there? Did I cover that, cover that, cover that? We did. So we're off to the races now. Going to start looking at some charts. We'll go right to CHK, and then we'll get into some of the other movers. Just to make sure I didn't see anything else out here that really was exciting. I mean, you had the bounce today. The volume so far is not all that exciting. You still have that high volume low at $1.50. If I was a betting man, I suspect that I could not go long the stock unless it had tested the $1.50. February 8th low, 120 million shares. You got 37 million shares so far today. Is it a nice candle? Yes. I mean, you're in an industry that's probably not going to do that well still. In fact, I had some questions about some other things here. I've got probably about 10 emails. I'll get to them all. But one of them was about natural gas and what I thought about that. And it's more of a fundamental thing than, of course, than anything else. But the Obama administration has been moving to make sure that a lot of the oil wells cannot flare off the natural gas, especially up in the northeast or northwest, northwest. And if they can't flare that gas, that means that even if they have to pay people to take the natural gas off their hands, it is a definite possibility if these EPA regulations stick. A lot of people think that natural gas may not have hit a bottom. I'm wondering if, I've joked about it before, but is there a possibility that literally natural gas becomes free? I don't think it will become totally free, but I think it's going to be so cheap, especially through the summer, that it becomes incredibly hard for me to understand how a lot of these companies do not go broke. Now, maybe that EPA regulation does not stick, but I think a lot of traders are betting that it does. And if you don't understand what flaring is, if you've ever gone through a great deal of oil country at night, and to see these giant flares coming off the oil wells. If they can't sell the natural gas at a price that makes it worth it, they literally just put a big lighter to the end of the top of the well and let it burn off. It's methane and natural gas, and it burns off. And it's not very clean because, of course, there's a little bit of atomization of the crude itself. But it becomes problematic in the fact that if you're going to have to pay somebody like garbage to haul it off, at what price point and where do you even start to store all this natural gas, especially until the next time it's really needed, which is going to be maybe August for power generation? Man, I just I would watch the news on that one single thing, because that could be the single biggest mover of natural gas the rest of this year. And I've seen some of the articles about it. It's unclear when it would go into effect, but the Obama administration is really pushing it. If it did, you could see natural gas at half or even cheaper than the price now, just to have people haul it away from them. So a word of warning out there. Is it darkest just before the dawn? No, it's as Pink Floyd best said, it's darkest before it's all dark. And that's it. Anyway, Chesapeake, you got to bounce out here. You do and are on a technical basis going in to this candle of February 4th that had 39 million shares. So you got good volume. You're going to have more by the end of the day. You still have a significantly higher low out here on February 8th. And my thought is that, man, it is just going to be a tough business for a while. I don't see a great deal else happening. What else do we have? Okay. I will answer that one via email on the break. What effect will the upcoming end of the buyback season have on the market? He's Dan in Clearwater. He is nowhere located near to Lutz. Normally you get a pullback. And the question is, how many people are willing to buy that pullback? And at the moment, I suspect that we're not going to have a bunch of people dying to sell this pullback. But I think you could see that pullback. We've got options expiration really starting next Wednesday, right? Yeah. The options expiration cycle starts next Wednesday. So we've got a week. That is normally 80% of the time the low between the 9th of March and the 18th. So statistically, you've got a very tough road to say that we really sell off significantly between those 2 days. And of course, you've got the FOMC on the 16th, which is that Wednesday. I think we could kind of go sideways here for a while, but I'm thinking this is kind of the high end of the range here. So I wouldn't be going long.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're back. I had a good question out here. Someone actually said they were trying to place an order, and it said from Schwab, posted the following note, and it said, please note that the issuer of this security is deficient in meeting the exchange's continued listing requirements. You may want to consider doing further research before placing this order. And I won't get into what they were buying, but most of these, it is higher on the Amex and the New York Stock Exchange, but you have to keep a certain price point and keep above that. And you can either buy back shares of your stock to get that price higher. Normally, when your price is that low, there is nothing that you can do. Of course, you don't have a lot of cash, so your stock's languishing down about $1 or something. And if it's been down there for $1 for 6 months or so, they'll send you a notice saying, hey, get your stock price up or go on the pink sheets. And normally what they will do is a reverse split to get their price back up above $5 or something like that. Depends on what it is and what they think that they need. And that's what that's all about. But normally when you get those notices, you have somewhere around 6 months to get the price up, or you're off the New York Stock Exchange tape. So hopefully that answers the question. That is one thing. But when you're buying penny stocks, I tend to buy them as non-expiring options. That is, you buy a 50-cent stock, and you don't buy it like you're buying a $50 stock that has lots of coverage by financial analysts and has money coming in. You're buying it just like an option. The downside to options, of course, is they expire in 30, 60 days. If you buy a 50-cent stock that you think could go to $5, then maybe it's like buying an option that just does not expire unless, of course, the company goes bankrupt. So just like options, because the option price is cheap, you don't buy and put 100% of your cash, trading cash, into a single option and hope it just pays off. You might as well go to the casino for that. You take a tiny, just wet your beak. And if you think that you're in a industry or a sector that has bottomed, it's not bad to look at some of those cheap stocks from time to time. Hopefully that answers it. And of course, it's not like buying a $5 stock and hope it goes to to $6, you buy a 50-cent or a $2.50 stock and hope it goes to $5 or $6, something like that. And, especially if you're in commodities, it is not uncommon to see what's like gold miners. I remember the first stock that I bought in the gold stocks was BGO at a quarter. And so they can be, I think it went to $6 eventually. So you can see some of those, but you've got to kind of know what you're doing. You've got to know that something has physically changed or there's a good thing that may have changed in that sector. So bottom fishing is a part of that. Okay. Cardinal Health got a question from Dano from Lutz, Florida. Says, Cardinal Health, he's thinking about shorting this. You basically got the pullback you wanted. It is 50 cents. You got $83.32 was the 50% retracement. You got a couple of bounces. This thing actually did gap down on the 11th of January with 5.9 million shares. First time you got into this was on the 26th. It pulled back into the trading range on 1.2 million shares that day. It got back into it again with 1 million shares so far, but it looks to me you're probably going to exceed this volume of the 26, 1.22. You already have 1. So normally that means that maybe you've got just a little bit more to go. I suspect that in fact, when I look at the volume out here, one of the things I think about is how the volume actually did a little bit better. The volume is horrible the last 3 days. I will admit that, or 4 days. But you've got maybe 2 bounces up here. You may get 1 more. So could you go short? Yeah. Does that mean that this thing is going to fall apart now? The answer is no. Looking at this during the break, I think this thing could just float around in this area for a while before it fails. So don't get too excited about this thing failing in the next couple of days unless the market does. In fact, I'd probably wait for the market to turn before I would pull the trigger on CAH so far. Not a bad setup. You've got 2 more gaps above it. This is, of course, the gap that really matters, I suspect, with the heavy volume down of 5.9 million shares on that 11th of January gap down. So you're going to have a lot of stiff resistance here. But my guess is with the move that we've had, you're probably going to get a little fooling around out here. I would wait to see if this thing goes sideways maybe for a few days, if the volume really dries up, if every pop gets shorted. But I think maybe you've got a few days. And what I would probably be reticent to do is if this thing continues to go sideways into the start of options expiration a week from today, to carry it through options expiration. But I'll try to make a note, but maybe you can email me, and we'll look at the way this thing sets up next Wednesday to see if it's still up around this area, what the options folks are talking about, and we'll see. But I like the setup. I dislike the energy is pretty good off the bottom, and that it is just now starting to kind of be light. Could you get a 50% retracement in this to 79.18? I think you can. I probably would only short it, though, if I thought that and had a biting belief that it was going after the February 8th low. And I've got to say that it probably will, but I think it's going to take some more time for this thing to base out at the top. I've just seen a lot more stocks kind of go sideways up here, fool around for 7-10 days, and then start blowing apart. When is earnings next on this? Let's take a quick look. See if I got a date here. Earning April the 28th. So you got a little bit of time. You don't have to worry about earnings really coming into view. But yeah, I'm just thinking, I've looked at some of these others, and they've just gone sideways a while before they've fallen off. I could see a little bit of pullback, maybe a push back up into earnings, and then maybe mid-month, late this month, this thing maybe would roll back over that February 8th low. I could see going either way on it. I'm just not feeling the rejection so far, other than the light volume. Okay, what else do we have going on here? Did I get that? Okay, we got that. Okay, I think we're good with the emails. When we come back, we'll go through some of these stocks that were moving today.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, when news breaks, I'm here to fix it. But we were talking about CHK, but Aubrey McClendon apparently just in the last hour or so decided to take his car, drive at 100 miles an hour into a bridge abutment. So that chapter looks like it's over. He may have done it to save his family the cash. Now that they will not be able to prove that he did anything and he expired before that, he may have done it for his family so they can keep the cash. I don't know what's going around it. Maybe he just did it because he didn't want to go through the issue. But yeah, another one checks out. But some people, that's the way that they choose to exit. But looks like, they've got a picture on it on TV right now. Pretty ugly scene, but I knew a couple other people that took bridge abutments as the way out. And I don't know. I think you, question is whether or not you had your seatbelt on or not. Probably would tell you whether you were just massively upset and drunk or were planning to hit the bridge abutment at 100 miles an hour. Chipotle is back up to its confluence level. This is a fairly wide confluence level, but I'm going to call it as confluence for Chipotle. And kind of interesting because, of course, last night we had Chewy's come out with earnings. It was up a bit. But I had this thing that I just wanted to play. Been talking about it for a week, so I'll go ahead and play it for Chipotle.
Listen, we know that here at Chipotle, we've had a bad few months. Not only did we make people sick with E. coli, norovirus, and salmonella, we're also under criminal investigation by the federal government. But don't worry. We took a full half day off on Monday to regroup, and now we're ready to welcome you back with open arms.
Anyway, apparently off the lows of $3.99 up to $5.30, a nice big run out here. Chewy's is a company that came at an IPO trying to say that they were just like Chipotle. They had earnings, bounced back up, filled the gap, and it's kind of pretty much what we have here. Did bounce up to this level, and we'll be back. We got just a couple minutes left, hopefully. Mike from Toronto, quickly.
Yeah, quickly, two things. A song request by Queen. Another one, Bites the Dust.
Okay, I guess that's good.
And B.I.B.
B.I.B. I have to say, I've said this for many times, and that is that, especially yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, but Vertex had an ad that Hillary went directly out after them with yesterday. I hate these stocks that have anything to do with in this sector, only because through the election cycle, you never know when you're going to be torpedoed by one of those. This thing's kind of up at the highs. What are you thinking, going short or long?
Actually, I'm hedged. I'm long the LABD, and I'm also long the BIB. And I don't know, I'm basically playing this out until Larry Pesavento's full moon turn date.
I just don't think there's a lot of money in this. I think it's, a lot of times they'll say on Wall Street it's dead money.
Yeah.
And I just think with the overhang, and especially like yesterday, seeing political ads literally run after specific companies in the biotech sector, I don't think that's over.
Okay.
I don't like
I'll settle
being
for
in
the
that
song
sector.
request.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mike. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hold on for the one and only Tom O'Brien.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.